Thursday edition of What Chaos, November 30th. Wrapping up, Peter, our first month and last month of this show.
That's right, folks. This is the last episode.
We never said how long
it was
this
a good
show
run.
would be. Yeah.
That would be a wild
Bought
trick
a
to
lot
pull.
of hockey jerseys just for the look. I'm kidding. Big show announcement.
That's crazy. I feel like we've
The
been
show's
doing
gonna
the show
continue.
for like a year at this point.
We have been. We've been working on this
That's
show
true.
forever, making this set and everything. I was going through some pics on my phone of like Sean and some of our pals from ALLCITY just like making this all happen. And a lot of the construction, like I did like Sean, like less than 1% of the construction on any of this. I would like walk in and be like, "How's it going, gang? You need to know where to get sandwiches?" And then I'd take a picture and I'd like post, I'd like text Pete and be like, "Set's coming along."
The craziest part about that is that you did 1% or less than 1%, and I did less than you. I wasn't even in town. Also, I apologize for how I sound. I am fighting for my life right now, and I can hear it. And I'm sorry.
I know. I was trying to think of like, how can this be as easy a show as possible for Pete? People wouldn't believe this to hear me say it. My goal when I do any show, especially if it's one that I have to host, is to not talk the whole time.
Yeah,
And
okay.
This is going to be we're going to play other stuff. We're going to do a clips show. We're going to do highlight. I'm just kidding. We're going to show an Anthony Duclair interview that we did just the other day, which is amazing. He is the best. He and the Sharks obviously not off to the greatest start this season, but really one of the more fun conversations we've had.
I think maybe that changes after he appears on the show because we get the bump. I mean, we've seen that it works in the other direction. Like we had Frank Vetrano on, and he has since slowed his pace. He's not on pace to score 400 goals this season. So maybe it turns around for Anthony Duclair.
I think, though, that with Frank Vetrano, we pointed out to him that he was scoring a lot of goals.
He didn't want to be
he
selfish.
Was like, "Oh, God, is this like what people are saying about me? I got to save some for the fishes."
That's
so he's slowed down a little bit. We start, though, and we also have some Tate McRae news coming in this show. Some breaking, massive Tate McRae news. So you don't want to go anywhere for it. But we have to start in Detroit, where Patrick Kane is on bust watch.
Yeah.
This is now 2 straight games where
Healthy
the team
scratch.
has deemed him healthy scratch, unfit to play. We don't know if it's like a professionalism thing or what it is, but Patrick Kane still not ready to go.
You could also say he is a glory hog, or just more about the cameras at this point in his career, because he was on camera last night, but not in the lineup. How do you think that his teammates feel about that?
How do you think they feel about that in the room? He's yapping with his good time buddies, screwing around, talking about making declarations, trying to write checks that maybe his stick can't cash.
Yeah, he's talking a big game too and not backing it up. He's saying, "Hey, I'm going to be better than I was last year. I'm going to be better than maybe I was the year before." And he's just out there lollygagging around in practice and not actually getting in the game.
If you think that we're running this bit into the ground, consider we're not making a cab joke. I have heard so many cab jokes about Patrick Kane the last couple of weeks, and even from people I like, and I'm like, "Oh my, okay, give it a rest with the cab jokes."
People don't forget, apparently. I wish they would. Those jokes were old like 10 years ago.
But can you tell me like literally anything else about Patrick Kane though, outside of like hockey? Because I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, but the
Do
other
you
ones
want us
aren't
to?
good either.
Yeah, fair enough.
It makes me so mad. I could just freak out in a cab. It makes me that mad.
I will say, like, Patrick Kane, from a personality standpoint, there's not a lot going on
More
there.
boring than people think.
Oh, my goodness. Like, people make fun of
Aesthetically
Connor
interesting.
McDavid, and, like, I would rather listen to a Connor McDavid interview than a Patrick Kane interview.
I don't know. You interviewed Connor McDavid back in the day.
I did, and he was fun.
I was going to say, I didn't, I think that was a print thing, right?
It was, yeah. But he was fun.
But he was good. He
Yeah.
was nice.
Yeah, we talked about sneakers. He's a big sneakerhead.
You know who would not like that conversation?
Who?
Tyler, the Creator.
Why?
You didn't hear what Tyler, the Creator said?
No.
Sean, you heard what Tyler, the Creator said.
I think I might know what you're referencing.
He said, go on music shows and talk about your album. Don't go sneaker shopping and deep-throating hot wings. And then he had to like release a statement being like,
to be fair,
Sean
though,
Evans is a very nice man.
To be fair, though, when I interviewed McDavid, it was at an Adidas event. It was when they unveiled all the new. It was when Adidas took over the NHL jerseys and they unveiled all the 31 jerseys, because this was when Vegas was introduced as a team. Whoa. So it was like a fashion event.
Interesting.
So I asked him about sneakers and stuff like that.
Let's hear Patrick Kane flapping his gums, as his teammates probably feel last night on TNT.
How confident are you can get back to the Patrick Kane we've seen come playoff time, the one doing the pumpernickel and the heartbreaker, to that level?
Yeah, very confident, very confident. You know, I know for a fact I'm going to be better than I was last year, and even the year before. I mean, put up decent numbers, but it was I couldn't really move laterally side to side. A lot of my plays were just kind of peg leg planted, so it was a good decision. I'm happy with it all, and very confident about getting back to a high level of play.
Let me ask you this: do we want to add a liar to
Yes.
this guy's resume?
Oh my
or what?
God! I asked Sean, who's just a young gun with a quick fuse, if he was too young for the "Why the fuck you lying" meme, and he said no. Patrick Kane is too old to be doing anything that would make him not look like a liar there, because he is not going to be better than he was 2 years ago. And even like we've talked about what he was last year, he seemed maybe on the road to Cashville. I know he's had a surgery since then, but like, you don't always come back from surgery better. You pointed out that this hip resurfacing procedure doesn't usually make guys better.
Two guys in the history of the NHL have played after having this surgery, and both of them have looked like shells of themselves. And both of them were like pretty decent before having it. Like, I mean, that's not fair to Patrick Kane. He was pretty decent before encountering those hip issues.
Mm-hmm.
And even like last year on, with like one hip was okay.
Yeah.
But if I'm Patrick Kane, I'm like, I'm not inflating myself before I hit the ice. Like, now I feel like all of it's been twisted from, well, we got to really be careful about our expectations with Patrick Kane because of this, the history of like this hip surgery and hip resurfacing. And now it's become like, he's back and he's sick. And if I'm Patrick Kane, I don't want that. I want the bar to be set low.
You don't want to be a savior. You don't want to be viewed as a savior. Again, you want to be viewed. And look, like the stuff that he said to TNT, that's the stuff that like you should think.
Right. Yeah.
And you should tell your teammates, say like, I am going to give you some shit you never seen before. Like, we are going to, and you fire them up and you tell your loved ones, your therapists and everything, like just like how much you believe you can do great things. I don't know if you want to Anthony Duclair that you're going to go out and do them. I think that at this point,
and say that you're going to be better than you've been in the past 2 years?
Yeah, and Sean did a great job tossing the stats up there. 2 years ago, he was over a point a game player for the Blackhawks, had 92 points in 78 games, scored 26 goals.
And that was a team that ranked 28th in the NHL in offense.
Yeah.
So, like, that's impressive.
So, I understand you want to believe that. I wouldn't be saying it right now, but again, it's not like anyone's going to jail for him declaring this. I just think that we all agree. He lying? You think lying?
I think lying. I don't think that
between wishful thinking and lying.
I don't think that he's going to be better than he's been in the past 2 years. I guess I would love to be proved otherwise. And like if he does prove me otherwise, damn, like all the credit to him. He is like not setting an NHL record or anything, but like he is smashing sort of the expectation and the history of this surgery and how people come back from it.
Can he at least be this? Can we say he's going to be better than he was with the Rangers? Which I just did the math.
I do think that that's true.
I agree. He
wasn't good with the Rangers.
Yeah, he had 0.63 points a game with the Rangers. In the few games I watched with him, I was like,
barely
that's not
noticed.
Patrick Kane.
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah.
And we've talked about Patrick Kane so much. I don't think we have been able to acknowledge as a player, God, electric.
Oh yeah,
like
100%.
Legend. Don't
offensively.
Don't
Yes.
quite think that he's an automatic. You have to give me your number when I go to your team.
I still think that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm on Sean's side.
This we found though is an age thing because do you also Sean associates 88 with Patrick Kane. I associate it with Eric Lindros. Do you associate it?
Mostly Kane.
And I think any player in the NHL that's younger than him, which is most of them, is going to associate. Like that's what Sprong kind of said. He was like, "That's his number. He's the greatest American player of all
Lindros
time."
obviously rocked, and I think he was just like a smidge before like my diehard hockey fandom started.
Okay, we're gonna have a light investigation later on this show on some Tate McRae stuff. At some point on this show, we're going to investigate an 88 story because I've tried to distance myself from this over the years. But as I told you way back in the day, at least for a time, I took responsibility for David Pastrnak wearing 88, and part of that was he was wearing it at a rookie camp thing, and I was like, yeah. I would talk to him like when he was a healthy scratch for preseason games and everything, just 'cause he was a nice kid. And he was wearing 88 at a rookie camp in Nashville. And I was like,
because it was assigned to him.
Right, because it was assigned to him. And I was like, yo, 88's awesome. You should keep that. And he was like, really? And I was like, who's known for 88 right now? Lindros is gone. Like, I guess Kane wears it. And that was the logic behind that, of being like, you can lay claim to 88. So maybe I'm like an anti-Patrick Kane owns 88 thing.
Yeah.
But the investigation I do want to do is like years later, be like, David Pastrnak, did you take that seriously at all? Or like, did you even go into that camp being like, give me 88. I want to do something.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I like the idea of players choosing numbers. Like we're getting into like a weird era of hockey jerseys where guys are choosing numbers because nobody else has been associated with them before. Like,
and I love that.
I love it too, and it makes me curious to see like what kind of weird ass numbers we're gonna get down the line, where you look at it and you're like, oh, that's an ugly number, and then you kind of come around on it. Like I started that way with Crosby with 87. I was like, that's a fucking weird number. Why is he wearing that?
That's
and
so
now
crazy.
I can't imagine him wearing anything else. I actually thought about it last night too with Mo Sider wearing 53.
Mhm.
I'm like, that seems like such an ugly number, but he kind of makes it work. One that I love that I don't think is associated with anybody else except for my best pal, Jacob Lauko. 94. 94 is an awesome number.
94 is a great number, but it's all Sean's making a face.
No, I was agreeing. I think at this point, basically any number
making
in the
like stank
90s.
face. You were
No,
like, nice.
yeah, like I think any number in the 90s at this point kind of goes crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But most of the numbers in the 90s are associated with an NHL player.
91.
Especially
Fedorov.
91. Yeah.
Yeah.
And 94, I don't know anybody.
94.
96 is another one.
Yeah. This would be a good question for our friend Adam Jones. He used to do a thing called the Dong Report on his show, and they would count how many home runs there were each night. And they'd say, all right, well, there were 33 dongs. And then people would text in like, a Zdeno Chara 33 or a Jason Varitek 33. So as a result of that, I'm pretty sure he's a wizard with like every number.
Okay.
If we were to say to him, Jones, give me some hockey 94s, he'd be like, oh, blah, 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 blah.
I'd be
94.
shocked if there were 94 home runs in a night of baseball at any point.
That would rock.
That would be one hell of a night.
If it were like 1999,
True, yeah.
there
Let's get
would
back to
there
those
wouldn't
days.
only be 94.
It would be 94 in one game.
Yeah, hell yeah. But the most interesting thing I think that happened with the Red Wings last night isn't that they benched that loudmouth Patrick Kane again. It's that there was something Pete, personally had never seen before. In last night's Rangers-Red Wings game, Lucas Raymond grabbed Will Cooley's stick, hit himself in the face with it, and drew blood. Almost got away with it.
Yeah.
They called a 4-minute double minor on Will Cooley, and they were like, wait, hold on a second. And he clearly, they were both headed to the same area, grabbed the stick, hit himself in the face with it. And I can't tell if that makes Lucas Raymond a gangster or a maniac. Probably both.
Probably both. He did get away with it. Like, he didn't get the 4-minute penalty, but he got away with it because he wasn't penalized. I think it's crazy that you can't penalize a guy after it goes to review and you find out that he did that. Like, that should absolutely be either holding the stick or embellishment. And I know that you can't retroactively like change the penalty call. You can only review whether it's double minor or a minor. But I think that should be changed. I think that you should be able to go back if you're reviewing a specific penalty and you find another penalty. You should be able to enforce that.
Oh, so you believe in my friends and I used to call this the works challenge.
The works.
If there was a play, we would do this in football. If like a bad play happened to your team, you should be able to just throw a challenge flag and say, give me the works. Yes. Meaning like give like this play a full body scan.
Yes.
See, like I'm not going to tell you what I think is wrong with it, but you need to go through and find anything that could be wrong with it. Unfortunately, this kind of does already exist just with offsides challenges. Just be like, did anything at any point go wrong? Can you take a look at this? But I think of this, there's a scene in Saw 2 where they find that they need to open a safe and there's numbers to the safe written on the back of all their heads.
Yeah.
And one guy is going around like killing people to get their numbers from the back of their head. And Amanda says to him like, hey, dummy, if you kill us, how are you going to know which number is on the back of your head? And he
I know what he does.
And they're like, oh, shit.
This
what
guy's
is wrong
crazy.
That's what Lucas Raymond was last night. He was like, I want a double minor. And Will Cooley's like, well, what are you going to do? You need one of us to, what are you doing? You're drawing blood.
I know. I do at least respect the commitment that if you're gonna try to force a guy into a penalty,
yeah,
go for the whole thing.
That's
go for the whole
gangster
shebang.
Shit. Yeah.
Smashed himself in the face, drew blood. I do respect it. But I mean, Mudvayne, my guy Mudvayne in chat said it should be a delay of game penalty at the very least.
Yeah.
Because he did delay the game for no reason other than to lie.
What?
It's a big lying episode today.
Ooh, we don't have Anthony Duclair on. I kid. My favorite prior to this, I like when people like trick players into taking penalties or like take advantage of stick placement and be like, I think of PK Subban. He was always good at, if you weren't holding your stick tight enough, he was skating over it and you were getting a tripping penalty. And David Krejci had a great quote after a game, which was, he was like, I don't want to talk about that play. If I say what I want to say, then like people are going to make a big deal of it. And we were like, what were you going to say? He just goes, I don't like him. Which
respect.
But, like I always kind of liked that. I think of that as like awareness.
It's gamesmanship.
It's for sure gamesmanship, but it's also like, hey, if I do this, like, sure, he's not tripping me. Hold your stick tighter, dude. Don't put your stick there. I can skate right over it, and that's 2 minutes.
I mean, I think to a certain extent, embellishment is like part of the game, and it's part of the gamesmanship. And like, if you can give your team an advantage by being good at that, by all means, go for it.
I agree.
But like, there is a line. You don't want to see a guy fucking flopping around like a fish all the time and kind of like abandoning his game in order to do that. And I also don't think you want to see people get in the habit of like grabbing another person's stick and weaponizing it against themselves.
Yeah. The further we got into that conversation, I was just like, was this cool? Was this not cool? Like with each passing word either of us said, I was like, that was so cool.
I mean, like it's fun to see new shit.
Yeah.
This has been a good week for seeing new shit. We saw the shootout in Toronto that was wild. I don't know if I'd ever seen like a double hit and a team leave the ice and come back onto the ice.
You saw a Minnesota Wild game, which
I
was
saw a
new
Minnesota
for either
Wild
of
game,
us.
first time in my life for sure.
First and last.
And then there was the every player on the ice gets a 10-minute misconduct. That was a new thing. And then we saw a guy smash his own face. I love that.
And we saw the Arizona Coyotes beat the 2/3 defending Stanley Cup.
Nobody
champions
gives
in
a
a
shit,
week.
Sean.
But what is this? This is a hockey podcast,
Sean, the more that you try to force the Coyotes into conversation, the more we're going to avoid them.
Like, do you even get? I don't even know what that was.
I would rather hear about the Minnesota Wild at this point.
Well, Anthony Duclair saw Sharky on this table and was like, "Oh, Sharky!" And this is such a great Anthony Duclair video because I've watched interviews with him, and he is your kind of standard French Canadian like hockey guy. Doesn't get too far outside any of the boundaries that exist in hockey, but he was loose with us and he was great. I think part of it was that as soon as he came on with us, he was like, "Oh, hey Sharky, you got Sharky there." The reason we got Sharky is because when we first started browsing Foco's website, you were like, look at this Leon Draisaitl thing. Look at this funny Austin Matthews thing. I just started typing in mascots, and the first one that came up that was super funny was that enormous Sharky. It's amazing. And really, Foco does have plenty more where that came from. They've got, we showed you a gritty one that we have. Their mascot game is incredible, and they keep churning them out. So we enjoy them, and we hope that you can enjoy Foco. They got all whether you want to have them as collectibles, as coffee table pieces, as topics of conversation, they're amazing. And for all non-presale or sale items, you can use the promo code CHAOS for 10% off if you go to foco.com. They are amazing.
These are quality bobbleheads too. They're hefty. They're made well.
I don't know if you know, like if you pick one of those up and you look at the bottom of it, there's like they're all limited edition. Like there's all like you'll see like it'll be like 23 of 144 or something like that.
And that's the cool part about it, that I'm not a collector, Pete's not a collector, but if you are, you're gonna go bonkers on these things because act now. Foco.com. Use promo code CHAOS for 10% off all non-presale or sale items. Here is Anthony Duclair. Here with Sharks left wing and popular topic on this show, Anthony Duclair, because we watch a lot of your games, Anthony. We are crazy about the game that you guys played against the Oilers early in the season where you guys were coming off your first win. Oilers, people had so many questions. Like all eyes were on that game. It's silly to ask you about a game that you played like weeks ago at this point, but what was that game like with the whole NHL world watching two struggling teams?
Yeah, I don't think there was too many games on that night either. So it was obviously a big conversation between the boys before the game. We know that, I mean, we knew our situation, and then we knew, Edmonton's situation, and just coming off our first win there at home, it was important to get to a good start and hopefully, get the lead early and, put those guys on their toes. And, obviously I think we had a pretty good, performance. All four lines were rolling, and you can tell just everybody was motivated to win that game. And it ended up being pretty tight there at the end, but pulled off the win. Obviously, it was huge for us.
Pete named that the Oil Shark Bowl.
Yeah, we had a good time with that one for sure.
Generated a lot of AI imagery. It was wonderful. What a week that was in the hockey world. We have Sharky here, and we were just taught you noticed when you came on that we have Sharky. Sharky's got to be one of the better mascots in hockey. We were wondering, do players know who the mascots are? Like, do you know the mascots of the teams that you've played on?
Never. They do a good job of keeping their identity under wraps, so we have no idea.
No, but do you know like the actual like the mascot, like Sharky, not the person inside of Sharky?
Well, now I want to go down this road because you probably walked by and like given Sharky or Stanley C. Panther, I think is his name. Like you've probably given them fist bumps before. And then you walk by them in the parking lot or something, and they're like, he has no idea. I gave that guy the fist bump that led to that hat trick. I never even thought of that.
No idea. Would love to find out now that you brought it up. Now,
Well, we've got a great surprise for you, Sharky. Come on, I'm just kidding. No, Pete. Ask
What?
about like.
Oh,
do you
yeah.
actually know?
We were gonna question you to some trivia with if you can name all the mascots for the teams that you've played for. So you've got Sharky. That's an easy one.
Sharky, you did well, but it was also just right there.
DJ already spoiled the Panthers one. If you know the Panthers mascot.
Yeah. So Stanley.
Yep.
I think Columbus, is it Stinger?
Yeah, sure is.
What do
Senators.
you got? Ottawa Senators. What do you got there? Oof. No idea.
Wow.
Spartacat.
I mean, we can't see your hands,
Sparta-
so you could have been Googling this. I would have just cheated if I were you.
No, I'm not gonna
Spartacat, which
Random?
not my favorite.
No.
It gives some Spartan imagery, but not my favorite. How about did we do
Blackhawks?
Blackhawks is a classic.
What's that? I should know this one, eh?
Yeah. This is a famous one. He beats people up in the concourses.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty out there. I'm
Tommy
actually really bad with these things, guys.
Tommy Hawk.
All right, we'll do. How about this? Rangers.
Do they even have one?
Oh,
Rangers do not have a mascot.
Yeah. I was like, I would have remembered.
Wild stuff.
I would say the unofficial mascot of hockey Twitter and of every Twitter is Tim Robinson, and I think you should leave.
Good segue.
And you are famously, and I think you should leave head, because on Twitter you confirmed that yourself. So, what is your experience and love of I think you should leave? What's that level like?
I've watched it, I think, just once. It was great. I've recommended it to so many people. My favorite scene was probably the nachos, the date on the nachos. that had me fired up. A great show, great actor, and I hope that he comes out with a new season soon because we need some more content out of him.
I mean, the thing was, she was taking all the fully loaded nachos, and you can't take them with all the stuff on it. She was leaving. What is it? One nugget for the guy. You can't do it. But it was a rule at the restaurant. It wasn't.
Yeah, it was the rule that he just made up, and then she's not going to the movies no more.
So, do you find that from someone recommending it to you? Is it like a next up on Netflix thing? I'm trying to paint a scene of classic hockey, the boys, watching I Think You Should Leave, and that cracks me up.
You know what? Now you brought it up, I'm going to recommend to the boys here on the Sharks. I haven't yet, but I'm going to ask around. But for myself, I'm actually a big TV show, movie kind of guy, so I'll be on Netflix just looking around for new shows and stuff like that, and whatever the mood is, comedy or action, whatever I'm feeling that day, I'm looking it up for sure.
What have you been getting into these days?
I just finished Top Boy. I don't know if you heard Top Boy. Yeah, it's really good, actually. I think Drake's a producer on it.
Okay.
You guys should look it up. What else? Peaky Blinders finished maybe last season. That was great. Top of my head, not sure, but there's just so many, guys. I'm on there every flight, to be honest.
Are you a Drake guy?
Of course, yeah.
So I'm not the biggest Drake fan, but for some reason, the song Rich Baby Daddy has its hooks in me so freaking. Do you know that song?
Yeah, with Sexy Red.
Yeah, so Sexy Red on the chorus. That hook, for some reason, has affected me like few choruses ever have. Every social post I'm doing now, I have it in the shake that ass for Drake, shake that ass for me. It's the most captivating. Sean, our producer, is looking at me. I've played it a million freaking times in our studio. Something comes over me when I hear that song.
You can relate to it.
It's because you know why? It's because I think that we should get a Frenchie and take care of the dog till the dog days are over. He had to pay Florence Welch as a songwriter on that song. And I'm like, why don't you just not include a part at the end where you sing the dog days are over? What a weirdo Drake is.
Gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
This is such a good hockey interview, man. Like I'm having a freaking blast here. What's your relationship with Joe Thornton like? Because he was there. You got end of career Joe Thornton, and then when you came to San Jose, I know he was like, I'm going to hook you up.
Yeah, he was great. Obviously, that year when he was there in Florida, just win the President's Cup and just that year how it all unfolded. We were just winning almost every game. It was just so fun to have him around in the locker room. He was awesome. He did so much for us, and I know he wasn't playing every game, but just his attitude, his mood in the locker room was huge, and he definitely kept that room, very light, and all the boys are always dying laughing when he's around. So, and then obviously when I got traded over the summer, actually the first phone call was Mike Greer, second phone call was Bill Zito, and then third phone call was Jumbo Joe, and you're just telling me all about San Jose and how I'm gonna love it here, and it's great that he's there full time. So he's still here, in the rink sometimes, working out and stuff like that. So he's still busting around. So it's nice to have him around for sure.
You grew up a Canadiens fan, and obviously he started his career with the Bruins. Do you remember having any feelings towards him as a kid?
Yeah. I remember I've only been to like a handful of Montreal Canadiens game growing up because they were so expensive. And I remember, one of the games was him in a Bruins jersey. And I remember just ISO camming him the whole game. And, one of the players I grew up watching, obviously, and, one of those legends. So it's just like one of those things that, you just never, you never really expect to happen, playing with a guy like that. But, when it happened, couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity. And now I'm just lucky to call him as a friend for sure.
Speaking of the Bruins, I'm a diehard Bruins fan, so last playoffs will haunt me till the day that I die. But obviously, you being on the other side of it, what was that experience like going up against a team that had just set the record in the regular season? Obviously, they got off to a strong start, and then what was that experience like in the locker room on the other side?
It was great. I mean, sorry to hear about that.
I bet it was great.
It must be nice.
No, it was great. It was awesome. Unbelievable experience. One of those series that you remember for the rest of your career. And, obviously be down 3-1. And then we all know that Marchand breakaway with Bob and huge save. And there's just so many things that happened that just went our way and, took advantage of it. And obviously they were an unbelievable team, best team in the NHL history. So we definitely had a tough task ahead of us. But, I just want to say, like, in that locker room, we just believed, since game one. We just never stopped believing. That was the thing, just kept us going. Just our leadership group just stepped up in a big way. And, everybody just knew what we had to do. And, we just stuck with each other. And, that was a crazy comeback and obviously a crazy game 7 there.
Yeah, you guys played deep into the summer, obviously, and then you were traded over the summer. Like, what was the experience like for you this summer? Because that seems like a very hectic summer to have.
Yeah, it was. A lot of emotions going through. I mean, for me, it started back, the July before, tearing my Achilles and just going through that whole rehab process all year. It was drooling and then very grueling, period, and a lot of ups and downs and stuff like that. But it's just part of the business. I've been through it before, and when I got traded, it was a bit of a shock, but at the same time, just grateful for the opportunity that my career has presented to me, and obviously. You go through an experience like that with Florida going all the way to the finals. It's kind of a dream come true. As a kid, you always dream of having that opportunity, and it was obviously a great time, and time I'll never forget with Florida for sure.
You also got traded, obviously, the first trade of your career. You were the centerpiece of a trade for a star player, and I always wonder what that's like for the young guy. You were traded for Keith Yandle. How much pressure is that?
Yeah, luckily that happened when I was in junior, so I didn't have to, take my stuff and pack my stuff and move mid-season. It was kind of, a move I had to make over the summer. But yeah, like obviously as a prospect, you just get drafted to an organization. You're not expecting, but you're hoping to be there for a little bit, and wasn't expecting that at all, obviously. But I was told, I guess, from our performance from the World Junior Tournament and that chemistry that I show with Max Domi, that Arizona really wanted me and wanted me to play with Max. So it was another obviously surprise, but again, learned early on in my career that it's a business, and things like that will happen. And I think it was great, going to a younger team there in AZ, and starting off my career over there. It was a great time. Learned from an all-time great in Shane Doan, who I consider a friend still to this day. This guy is just unbelievable. My first few years, and what a captain to start my career with, for sure.
Doan seems like a pretty level-headed, awesome, like great leader. Who's the most ridiculous teammate you've ever had?
Most ridiculous teammate.
Is this gonna be Joe Thornton or?
There's so many. I don't want to call anybody out right now. Oh man. What do you mean by ridiculous?
Just like it could be anything. I mean, like right now you got Ferraro who does all the YouTube stuff and everything, but that's good. Go make your content. Hell yeah, we're all in this together, sort of thing. Whether Kachuk last year, just like this guy is an absolute animal. Like, who is that teammate that you've looked at and been like, how are we even the same species?
Let's go John Scott.
Oh
This
boy.
guy this guy was actually hilarious. Kind of like jumbo vibes. Just every day, it's gonna be just a full on laughing session with this guy. He kept the room light. He's, yeah, he was a funny guy and funny guy to be around with, for sure.
He was always the center of attention a lot too. Like a fan base was always either mad at him or people were voting him into an all-star game that people didn't think he should be in. Like,
that was actually the year he was there in Arizona when he got voted into the All-Star game. So that was a crazy few months. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, what was that?
Tell us about those months because we have the All-Star game coming up now and they're changing the rules and everything. But like, what was it like being on that team and having that kind of attention for that reason?
Yeah, obviously he was a guy in and out of the lineup, and he was loved by all his teammates. And but I guess when they put that fan voting in, and then the fans started voting for him, and then it just kind of blew up on social media, and everybody started voting for him. In the locker room, we were loving it. We were saying, heck yeah, like you deserve to be in there if the fans want you in. And I guess he got called from Gary in the league, and they didn't want that at all. And they were trying to take him away and tell him not to go and stuff like that. But we were telling him, like, you got to go. And he was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going. And he ended up going. He got his all-star gloves that one day, and it started to be real. And, it was awesome. We were really happy for him. And then ended up scoring that hat trick, and it was great experience for him, for sure.
He was traded before. Was he traded before the game? Is that in an effort?
Yeah, we traded him to Montreal, and I guess he started playing in St. John, and that's why he didn't even have a logo when he got to the All-Star game. I guess I guess the league did everything and possible for him not to go, but he had his. He had his mind made up, and it was good for him to go through with it.
I don't want to get you in trouble here. I know what you've said about the Pride tape, and I should note, so I shouldn't be vague about that. The pro Pride tape, you've been against the specialty equipment ban, and you think that players should express everything that they feel the need to express. Do you ever wish as a player, and I'm sure a lot of players feel this, like, do you ever wish that the league would take itself a little less seriously with things like that, or the John Scott thing of like, this is an okay thing, this is a fun moment, this is something that's making people feel good, we don't necessarily need to squash it?
Yeah, I still don't get the league decision, honestly. We saw, was it last week, Marc-Andre Fleury making a mask for his wife, and and the league, stepping in and saying no. And I'm glad that he didn't listen to the league and just went through with it. I think more guys need to start doing that. I mean, it's kind of one of those things. You're trying to grow the game, every single day, every single year. You're trying to, attract new audience. Obviously, you look at the NFL, you look at the NBA, you look at the numbers they're pulling up. I don't see why, hockey shouldn't be, right there. Obviously a biased, opinion, but hockey is a great sport and should be, showcased, a bit more everywhere. And, it starts with things like that. So, I think for us as players, we need to step up and, just talk how we feel and express, to everybody and to the world, that hockey is for everyone. We're not just saying it, but we're actually, taking actions.
You're one of our good friends does the style rankings for Bleach Report, Sarah Siv, and you're constantly near the top of those style rankings. So I'm curious, how invested are you in the fashion game, and do you ever get requests from teammates being like, "Can you help me? Because I don't know what I'm doing."
You know what? I seen the list, and I'm not taking that list seriously unless I'm in the top 2 or top 3. I seen. I thought it was like number 8, and I'm not. Don't like it. I don't like it. So talk to your friend. I need to get moved up ASAP. But yes, I've had some comments from teammates, and I hooked him up with my guy back home. He's a family friend who he actually grew up with my dad. So I've been getting my suits from him since I guess midget. Started making suits, and he's great. He's great style. Honestly, sometimes I throw some ideas in, but for the most part, he's the man. With all the styling and everything. So I can let him take the charge, and just tell him to go crazy sometimes, and I'll wear whatever.
How often do you get like a care package of suits? Because I imagine, like, I was signed up for Stitch Fix for a while, and it's like it's super exciting to get that box in the mail and not know what's inside it. So I can't imagine getting a delivery and being like, I've got custom suits waiting for me. Let's see what's in here.
No. So I haven't had new suits in maybe 2 years, but
Okay.
if I would do any new suits, it'll be over the summer, just because never know what the fitting and all that stuff. So he's got my measurements and stuff back home, and then we'll pick out the colors and whatnot, and then we'll do it over summer when I'm back in Montreal. But yeah, I think I'm gonna get. I didn't really have time last summer because the longer extended summer, but obviously this summer I might get a few more for sure.
I never thought about this, but like players will try to show up to camp huge, right? Because they know they're going to lose weight over the course of the season, right? Like I don't say huge meaning like Bufflin. Like I mean like you want to show up as strong as
Way to throw a guy under the bus.
we made jokes about Phil last interview. We can't just keep making Phil Kessel jokes. Anyway, players I know will show up and they'll say like you lose weight early in the season, right? Because you're skating so much and everything. Like when you get fitted for suits in the summer, do you have to factor in like this might not fit me as well in December or January? And plus, if we're being a-holes about it, like as a hockey player, you got the big butt thing going on as well. So these tailors are going to have their hands full.
I mean, luckily I don't have that much of that problem. I know some guys maybe do, but for the most part, I keep my body kind of the same throughout the whole year, to be honest. And after the season, I take a couple weeks off. I maybe get a little belly, but I try to cut that out right after, and when I start skating in the summer. But for the most part, my measurements have been kind of the same throughout the year. So, when I get to camp, I don't think you want to get there too big because, the skates are pretty hard. So you might have a little tough time moving out there. But you try to obviously get to camp as most shape as possible.
Yeah, I'll end it with this. Given that you've spent a summer like rehabbing a major injury with your Achilles a couple years back, are the days of like kind of letting yourself go or taking a little break in the summer over? Like, did that Does that rehab process get you into the habit of like, whenever I can work to be better and healthy, I will?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's changed my whole mindset and how I take care of my body, and it's kind of crazy, like just how dialed in you have to be. Just the little things when you get older and you're starting to get older in this league. You just want to be as better as you can be, and you don't know how long you'll get in this league and how long you'll play for. So might as well just get better as much as you can, and even in the off season, you're still striving to be better. You're still looking to get better from the previous season. And I think for myself, especially with this injury, it's not an injury that I rehabbed and now it's done with. It's still something that I'm still dealing with to this day, and I've been told I'm going to keep dealing with it for my whole career. So it's something I need to stay on top of, and that's not just the Achilles, it's actually the whole body. Got to make sure that I'm just dialed in with the rest, nutrition, all of that, stretching, and so it's actually improved my preparation, and I'm actually grateful that I did tear it, because it actually helped me see a new light and how I need to prepare my body each and every day.
I sincerely swear to both you and Pete, when I said huge, I did mean like bulk up, put like lift.
I know what you meant. I know what you meant the whole time, and then you threw his name out there, and I was like, oh no.
I was just saying, like, I'm an asshole. Anthony, you are the best. We appreciate you so much. I'm so glad we were able to go over the X's and O's of hockey as in depth as we did in this conversation. We love watching your games, man. Continued success.
Appreciate it. Hopefully, Sexy Red sees this interview as well.
Oh my God!
There you go.
Like, can I get a follow? Sexy Red, follow back. Thanks, man.
Well,
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much.
Thank you.
God, this is why I love interviewing people.
What a guy.
Who would have thought that Anthony Duclair would be bringing up Sexy Red on the old podcast?
Saying that you relate, or you relate to Drake.
No. I thought you were saying that I was late. And for some reason, I was like, no, I'm very late to Drake. I admit there that I just found a Drake song that I like.
You relate. Sorry, my nose is stuffed up. I don't know if you heard.
Although, Sean, was he saying that I relate to Drake or Sexy Red there?
I think he was saying you relate to the person that is shaking their ass for Sexy Red and Drake.
Oh, so I didn't even think of that. I thought that he was saying like you got that sort of demonstrative energy.
I think you shake ass.
Oh,
DJ throws ass.
Do I throw ass?
That's what he was trying to get to the bottom of.
I don't think.
It sounds like Anthony Duclair doesn't throw ass.
I have ass throwing energy, maybe.
You only throw it for Drake and Sexy Red. That's why we haven't seen it all.
That's right. And so is that why she's calling me a bitch?
Probably for other reasons too. You
It's
got big bitch energy.
It depends on how you're using the word. Like, do I got that dog in me?
No.
Yeah. Sure, I got that dog in me. Bit of a bitch in that regard.
He rocks. The Duke.
He's great. The Duke, as it were.
What a
it's funny
nickname, too.
Everything makes me feel old, but like having a conversation with like cool adult Anthony Duclair is so funny to me, because I'll always associate Anthony Duclair with like World Juniors.
Yeah.
And man, the Coyotes got Anthony Duclair. They're going to be such a fun team. There you go, Sean. We're talking about the Coyotes now. Happy?
No.
I like that we went through all the mascots for the teams that he's played for, except for the Coyotes.
That's right.
It's almost like you guys are pushing an agenda. Or
that was kind of on him and us, because he was like, I am done with this game. And we were like, all right, cool, 3 more.
I did love that like once somebody says guys, it means like,
guys,
wrap it up.
Like, apologies, guys. I'm sorry. I'm bad at this.
I'm not good at this one, guys.
Right, cool,
we were
like,
cool. Maybe, well, not with that attitude. Let's keep it going.
No, you responded to that by asking him a trick question, nonetheless.
Which
you were like,
that's really cool.
The one that he got was like the trick was great.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Daddy, I love him. Shout out Anthony Duclair. And that in a season that probably isn't super fun for the Sharks and probably for Anthony Duclair, he came on, showed some personality with us. I get fired up off these. Like when we're done taping them, I'm like, that's right. Go look up any other interview with that player. It's not that interesting. It's not that fun.
Literally the comment that we just got. These guys get the best hockey players as guests, and then they ask the dumbest questions. That's the point.
And also incorrect read on that.
Right.
We get things out of players by like, look, you're going to like the clips that you get, and you're going to like the answers that they give. It's only natural to say, well, I didn't like the question, or I didn't like the interviewer's energy, or whatever. That's how it got there. We have been able to disarm players who are usually a little cagey, usually a little buttoned up, because we do what we would do if we were just hanging out with people. So I'm not saying that we're ace interviewers, even though I did tell Nick Foligno we're ace interviewers, but there is a method to this madness. There is a little skill here.
Yeah, and also like these guys do hockey interviews all day long for like their entire careers. And when we had Bedard, he was like, I've never heard any of these questions before. And that's kind of the fun part.
Yeah. So we go, all right, let's go sneaker shopping with them and deep throat hot wings. Look, I'm glad that we talked Drake and Sexy Red with Anthony Duclair. That's not the only music hockey news this week, because Tate McRae has a very hockey track list for Think Later. If you don't know who Tate McRae is, maybe you're 3 weeks ago old. She got the hockey world's attention with this album cover for Think Later, in which she's wearing goalie pads backwards. People got really mad. She also filmed a music video for her smash hit Greedy in a hockey rink. We have already fixed the issue with the Tate McRae album cover. We put the pads on right, just turned her into Martin Brodeur. It was a great time. I thought the hockey stuff was done with Tate McRae. What a dumb bitch I am, to use your verbiage.
Yeah, I mean, the hockey stuff, I don't think the hockey stuff was like a phase for Tate McRae. It is who she is. She loves hockey, apparently.
Yeah.
It's like almost her entire personality.
People don't know this. She's from Canada.
That's true. She is. Maybe we already threw her out there as a celebrity guest. So
yeah,
she's going to be a celebrity guest. But like her hockey is as much a part of her personality as it is either of ours.
Correct. And it could be argued that we're not even as good a dancer as she is. I also like the songs aren't amazing. I listen to them all the time.
She ain't beating those industry plant allegations.
I could see why those would be out there. I did listen to her most popular song. I think it's called You Broke Me First.
That's her most popular one?
And I was like, oh, this is bad.
Like Greedy.
Well, I mean, Greedy is Greedy
new
rocks.
most popular song.
Greedy, it's not good,
Greedy
but
it's
it rocks.
pretty good. Yeah.
It's a weird thing. She's got my head in a pretzel. And it continued yesterday because, boys, we were on the group text chatting about this. She revealed the track list for Think Later. And you see Greedy, we know that one. X's, Grave, she lip-synced on SNL, so we know some of these songs already. But take a look at the middle of that track list. You got Calgary, sure. Could that be a hockey thing?
Bon Iver did it first.
Was that a hockey song?
Could have been. But nobody really knows because nobody understands Bon Iver's lyrics.
Now look at, I can't see well. Is it track 10? We got, zoom in, Sean. Number 10. Is
it Messier?
Messier?
Or is it Messier?
Is it Messier or Messier? And we don't know at first blush because she's doing the stupid fucking thing that everybody does now where they make all the song titles all lowercase. That's not cool.
I hate it.
What's going to happen in a few years when your song titles go on a job interview? People are going to be like, these aren't serious songs.
That's like doing the I don't type in any caps on Twitter thing. Like it's cool for like maybe if you stick with it for your entire, if you don't throw a single capital letter in any of your tweets ever. I think like Ryan Lambert is like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen a capital letter from Ryan Lambert.
He's in my phone as lowercase Ryan Lambert.
Which, like, if that's part of
his brand.
If that's your thing, cool. But don't just hop on the train. If you've ever used a capital letter before as an artist, don't do the lowercase thing now. I hate it. It's so lame. What a stupid trend.
And to be fair, have we ever heard of Tate McRae before 2 weeks ago? Like maybe this is her thing.
But it can't be your thing when
it can't be your thing now.
when you're new, because like that's like the trend.
Yeah, because that
it's
is
just hopping on the trend. Like if you start doing it before or after it became the trend, you're just hopping on the trend.
I mean, Ari did it in, I want to say 2020, and it felt played at that point.
Who did?
Ariana Grande.
Maybe
Okay.
she was,
I mean, Taylor Swift did it with Folklore. And,
And
like,
when Taylor Swift did it with Folklore, that was like,
obviously like, oh my God.
That
maybe she
was
was like in grade 1 grammar school up in Canada. Just they were like, write your capital letters in crayon. And she was like, no.
I love.
Maybe if she's got the proof, she got the receipts. I'll eat my words.
I love that you switched up the lexicon to make it Canadian by saying grade 1.
Thank you for recognizing that. Yeah.
Absolutely. If we're if we're talking about hockey, we say U.S. Thanksgiving instead of Thanksgiving. Great job. I love when people do things like that. So we're left with this question: is it Messier or Messier? We could just decide it's Messier, but we're not that kind of podcast. People forget I have an email relationship with Tate McRae's representatives. Sean, yesterday I emailed Tate McRae's representatives and said, hey, all, as we are a hockey show that now discusses Tate McRae's music, we have a question. Is track 10 on the album called Messier the Word or Messier as in Mark Messier? Thank you, and the invitation for Tate to join the show always stands. Best, DJ. They got back to me right away saying, it's Messier the Word.
Oh.
Thank you. To which I replied, lame.
Yes. That rocks. Also, I want to go back to their response. Did they say, was there an X? Is that an X above
Kisses.
Okay, right. I was going to say that's kisses and it's X's.
kisses from the X? There's no hugs, just straight kisses.
Lame.
X is an X. It's XO. So that would be hug, right? Because if it's XO, it's hugs and kisses. So the X is hug, O is kiss.
Oh, I was just X gives much more of a kiss vibe,
I agree.
and then O is
But-
like a hug.
I mean, we can get to the bottom of this.
We
I can email Tate McRae's people and
That's
be
true.
like, hey guys, as we are now in a show that discusses your emails, what does X mean?
Oh, I'm so
and they're
glad
like,
that you said that.
stop emailing us.
Well,
this is a work email.
I think that we can very, very confidently say that Tate McRae will never be on the show now after those emails and after accusing her of being an industry plant.
I don't know if they were initially so excited to when I first hit up like her mom and pop shop representatives, they were like, hey, Tate loves hockey, so this would be great.
Yeah.
Adding Tom, and then Tom, like I can't remember which one is like the muscle of
It
the
seems
team.
like Tom might be.
No, I mean Tom was helpful.
Tom's getting back and he's throwing hugs. Maybe he's
That is true.
maybe he's not the muscle. I don't know.
Tom is X. Oh, I'm not going to read that. We're not going to talk about Tate's exes.
That's right.
Because I am a fan of Tate.
Yeah, like I like that she exists and like the music isn't bad. It's just it's not necessarily for me. And she just came out of nowhere. It is the biggest star of the world, apparently.
Can I admit something that is going to be lame?
Yes.
Let me find it. My actual response was...
Oh, do this off the show. Come on.
No, I'm not. My actual response was, we will still say it's Messier anyway, LOLs.
Gotcha.
Lame.
Damn.
If I was going to say that, though, I might as well just have said lame.
Yeah,
We're still going to be able to clip that.
that's true. But the real what nuts will know.
I can't tell if you're crying
I'm
from
dying.
disappointment or
Both.
your
I'm-
body.
I'm just dying. My body's giving up on me.
Well,
This is the last show.
we're going to... No, it's
Goodbye,
not.
everybody.
We love you. Sean, what are you doing? You putting Boo This Man? You're going to put Boo This Man on there? Come on, So here's the fucking thing. Look, I can't be everything. I was funny and brilliant enough to think of that joke to make. So I made the joke and then was like, it's a joke. Would you have preferred me not think of that joke? Then we don't have that joke. Celebrate this man.
I think they would have either rather you actually made the joke or kept the illusion at
Yeah, keep the
like
illusion.
Santa Claus.
So that
A
that'll
magician
give
doesn't
you.
explain his jokes after he does them.
But it's then people will be like, DJ's tough. He's going around telling people that.
I don't think anybody's accusing you of being tough.
Yeah, they are. They're saying DJ says lame to people. It's all right. So it's more that we will cut. Let's cut this. All right,
cut this from the live program.
Keep it a secret, and the live viewers have to keep it a secret.
All right. So let's do 3, 2. Do like I'm so glad. Like I can't believe you actually said that. You got that dog in you. Say something like that.
All right. I can't believe you actually said that. You got that dog in you. I'm so glad you're my friend.
Oh, I mean, it felt a little dice. I was like, do I do it? Do it? I did it. But Pete, I can
a real badass.
Am I a star?
What?
Am I a star for the like a 3 stars thing?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. And I'm going to give all my stars to Tate McRae's team for putting up with that. They're great to us. Hopefully we do get Tate at some point, but I could see I'm having a bad time. Pete's having a bad time. He's under the weather. Thank you to everybody for hanging out, checking out this episode. Thanks to Anthony Duclair. He's the best. Foco for giving us these dope items. We will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
We all silly like the mayor.